Hey everybody, and we're live. Welcome to Delve In Talk Show. I'm one of your hosts, Loren Malloy, and this is my co-host, Jess. Jess, say hi to everybody.
Hi, how are you?
We
We
have
got
an
some good stuff
amazing
tonight.
stuff. That's right. We have Ernie Atwell. Ernie! How are you, sir?
What's up, ladies? How are you?
I'm doing good now that you're on the show.
I
Ooh.
know. Goodness.
And let's all be clear, he's wearing the Exorcist shirt, which is epic. You look at that. Look at that. Now, before we go any further with the fantasticness that is Ernie, please understand we need your help. So while you're watching this video, make sure you like the page. I know. Make sure you turn on those notifications so that when we go live, you get to be with us. And most importantly, make sure you comment on the live page video itself, not any of the groups it's been shared to, okay? Because this way we get to see your comments. I get to share them up on the page for everybody to see and hear, and we get to answer you. So that's pretty awesome. So please make sure you do that. Say hi if you're watching. Let us know where you're from, what you're doing. Make sure you say hi to Ernie.
So they go on the Facebook page, you just said?
Yes, they go on
To
the
comment.
Delvin. Yes,
Okay,
the
because
live video itself.
my aunt and uncle are like so stoked to be part of the comment section tonight in particular. They're so into the paranormal and they really want to participate. They're actually watching some of our previous episodes as we speak. So I told them, I'm like, 8:00, you got to be on. So I just want to make sure that I told them the right thing.
Yep. Now, Ernie, we know that you are Paranormal Inc. So why don't you explain to everybody just a little bit about what Paranormal Inc. is?
Well, years ago, after many years of the whole paranormal thing, I was asked to join a paranormal team. I guess I was with them maybe 7 years, give or take. But within the last year of still being with the team, we were looking for a new investigator. So my paranormal partner, tech guy, and best friend, Dave Seiler, we brought him aboard. I guess that lasted about another year, and some things started going on, and I decided that I was going to go solo.
Ooh.
So I spoke with some friends and spoke with Dave, and after about 3 or 4 months, I decided to do it. I was going to step down from my team, and I told him, one of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to be successful or you'll never hear from me again. So Dave, knowing my technical abilities, he said, look, if you go solo, you're going to need a tech guy. So he goes, I'm coming with you. Aww. And at that point, Paranormal Inc. was born. We when we went solo, like the very next week, we were hosting our first public investigation. Actually, Dan Class was with us. We were in West Virginia, and it just, Dave and I worked really hard and started. I started writing seminars. We're getting ready to debut our third one.
Nice.
Of course, our primary function is investigating residential and commercial claims of activity. But we're fortunate enough to, be a part of all the events and paracons and expos and lectures. And just a little over a year ago, WLFE DB Radio offered us our own radio podcast. So that's been up and running for a while. So it's been a lot of fun, been a long road, and.
Now, is that the one I see behind you? Step Into the Paranormal?
Yes. This is where we do our show at. And the reason why I'm here instead of home is because my satellite provider don't have internet in my area.
Oh, no.
What?
So I didn't want to sit for an hour like this with my great vision and
Right.
We have a comment already. Hi! I love you, Jess. I'm here. Heart smiley face.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Please share it everywhere you can so that more people can
Yes.
see how epic Jess is.
And
I'm
if you
so glad I
got,
told her all.
oh please, but if you have any questions, guys, that you want Ernie to answer, feel free to put them in the comment section.
Yeah, put
What
him on the
got
spot.
you? Yeah, well, that's what you're here to do. You're here to answer questions. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah,
What got you
sir.
started here? What got you started into the ghost hunting?
Man, Jess, it goes way back.
How far
Was there a
back?
particular incident
Yeah,
that was like,
yeah.
oh man, I gotta look into this?
It all started back when I went to Catholic school.
Oh, that would do it. Sorry.
I was raised a very strict Roman Catholic. I still am. And I was always so fascinated with stories of spirituality and prophetic visions and ghost visitations. And I can remember even before going to Catholic school, hearing my family talk about stuff like this. So when I got in school, and once a week they had religion class, and a priest come in and was telling us these stories. I mean, I was just like, oh wow, So at that time, that's going way back. It was, you only had so many resources to study, or
Yeah, the internet wasn't around then.
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
You actually had to go to a library.
a
and get one of
library,
those
exactly.
And where are you
indexes.
gonna find that information?
Microfiche. I'm showing my age. Microfiche. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
But
Girl.
everything I could watch or read, or case studies, I read and studied. And so this went on up until I think 1999. My best friend was still alive at the time. Him and two of my neighbor friends, they contacted me and they said, hey, look, we're going ghost hunting tonight, and we know you're into all this stuff. You ought to come with us. So, I gathered the 8mm camera, voice recorder,
8mm.
Go
what
to
was it? What was the
Chrome.
oh, one of the
Polaroid.
no, it was the
Kodak?
disposable. Remember, you take them and
Yes.
then you take the
Kodak
whole anyway.
disposable. Yeah, the Kodak disposable. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1999, this was, and we actually came up with some good evidence. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm big on. I love Gettysburg. I don't know anyone who doesn't, but my friend Larry and I took a ride to Gettysburg on our motorcycles in 2004. I had a heck of a paranormal experience while I was there, and it was during the day.
Do tell.
So that started the whole full-time investigating. So I've basically been doing this since regularly 2004. So
wow. Can you tell about that experience? That
yeah,
2004?
we rode our motorcycles, and we had them parked not far from the Jenny Wade house. We were in the field up on the hill by the monument, and my friend had bought 2 cigars. He said, hey, let's smoke a cigar before we start our ride home. Now, there was no one around, and the sun was just starting to set.
Yeah.
And we heard down in the wood line, we heard a man scream.
Yes.
Now, there was no one there. I mean, there was not a person out there except my friend Larry and I. So I automatically start taking photographs of where I heard the scream come from. And sure enough, in one of the photographs, I captured a gray figure of what looks like a soldier coming out of the woods.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And that at that point, it was full time from there. So.
Right.
I would believe it for sure.
Right on.
You know what though? Speaking about Gettysburg, I've over the years I've captured so many photos and stuff, and we do so many events up that way. But I tell you, as far as Gettysburg itself, I've captured my best my best evidence during the daytime.
That's something else. Do you consider yourself like a sensitive or psychic, or your partner? Is he sensitive?
No. I don't. I've had like many people that are tell me that I'm sensitive, or what's the word, intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I don't feel it. I've been told that a lot of my characteristics about my personality and stuff leads them to believe that I could be that way. I don't feel, I'm not one of those people that, when we walk in to investigate somewhere or to host a public event, I'm not the guy. It's like, oh, I can feel it. They're touching me. They're all around me. That's not me. I have to have evidence. I don't know nothing.
You could be clairsentient where you just know, like, some people I've noticed where they just know to go this way, or all like, between me and Jess, I'm the only reason I bring it up is because that's very much what I am. And all of a sudden I'm just walking to a door and I'm like, what happened in there? They're like, oh, somebody died. I'm like, okay. Like, it's just one of those, like, get drawn to it, have an image, just know something, and then kind of have stuff that backs it up going, okie dokie. Oh, look, we have a guest in the comment section. Eric, we were just talking about you. Hello, sir.
Eric, we were just talking about you, man.
We were talking about the Bald-Headed Club. That's how I put it up.
Old Bald Dude Paranormal.
There you go.
Hey, check out that hat.
I wish I could get a closer view. That is a good hat. I'm doing it again.
That's the Paranormal Inc. hat with the
emblem
I just showed you.
Oh, show everybody the tattoo again and who it's by, Ernie.
Oh, that's can you see it?
Yes, it's pretty good. It's a magnifying glass with a ghost being seen through the magnifying glass.
That's one of our logos, and that was
Eric wrote LOL.
That was done by my buddy Tony DeVille from DeVille Inc. and Ink Master Angels. You might have seen on, I guess it was Travel Channel.
Tony DeVille. Epicness. Got sidetracked by all the wonderfulness that just happened. I have always noticed that when somebody gets drawn into paranormal in any way, shape, or form, it's almost like they were destined to it. Like, you turned that corner and that moment happened, not somebody else. This person was the person who heard it, not somebody else. And in each case, it is the catalyst to cause you to force that door open to go, what else is out there? What is my perspective versus what it could be? That those questions of wanting to know, to, delve in.
Right. I mean, the biggest question any human being is, what is death like? What is what's going on the other side? Can we get any answers by connecting with these folks?
And see, that's exactly what kind of led me to where I'm at with this today, because back in the day when I started studying this and researching it, it wasn't for the ultimate goal of investigating the paranormal. It was just like a fascination I had with learning about the afterlife, and when I went on my first investigation in '99, I mean, paranormal really wasn't mainstream yet. You'd every now and then you'd catch something on TV having to do with it, but you didn't have your weekly TV series about it and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the veil is lifting. The veil's lifting.
Right.
What so what would you say would be like your greatest accomplishment to date in the paranormal industry, like so far with your business? 25 years.
Probably meeting you and Lauren.
Oh, shucks. He's good at answering, folks. This is why he's good at what
right.
He's like, hey, best answer. Meeting you two ladies. Da-da-da. And I appreciate that. But what about something more realistic?
Great.
Because this isn't real.
Our first seminar that Dave and I did, it was actually, that's where we got the name of our radio show. Our first seminar was entitled Step Into the Paranormal. And basically what it was is like a paranormal 101, where I would go over, all the different types of haunts and, my philosophies on, what spirituality is and what hauntings are. And Dave would break out, he's the, the tech guy. So he break out all the gadgets and gadgets and show people how they work and pass them around and let them play with them. And then we'd lead them on an investigation. And I think the educational part to me is my greatest, in my opinion, for me, is our greatest accomplishment, because I love, not saying the way we do things is the ultimate right way or whatever, but we really get a kick out of showing people what we feel is the right way and the respectful way and how to use all the equipment and all that good stuff.
What
I
is
have
your
a question. Wait,
oh,
wait,
Go
wait.
ahead. Mhm.
I'm stealing.
No.
Can we have you guys do the panel on the show? Not now, but a different future day. Could we have you do, like you said, your talk about the 101s and how to? Could we have you do the panel on the show one time?
Say that you chopped up on my end a little bit.
I want you to do the panel on the show one time where you give a talk to the audience and explain it like the right and wrong way, like the 101s.
Of course, of course.
That would be awesome. Then we'll
Yeah,
have you
cool.
back, and then like all the
Cool.
people that wish they could do it, at least we're giving them the right kind. Because if we were allowed to meet as a group, we could have you doing panels all over the place.
Yeah,
but
of course.
This is one way, and then it goes also to YouTube and all the audio streaming, so then more people could get the knowledge and know it's from you guys.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything you guys would ever include me in.
All right, so I'll plan that one out with you at a future date, and we'll probably maybe next month we can have you on for that. We'll talk about it. Make sure your partner's okay with that too. But
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question from the audience, folks.
Yes. Let's
I
see.
love questions from the audience. All right, Rose. She wrote, has Ernie or anyone on his team ever had an attachment?
Oh, great question, girl.
Thank you.
Let me tell you.
What she's doing.
Please come on the show in the comment section every week, girl. We're gonna.
I didn't even think of that because I'm always dealing with it.
If you don't mind, I got a funny story about this.
That's fine.
That's great.
Dave is actually a lay minister. And
nice.
like I said, I'm very, very serious, with my Catholic religion. But Dave and I, this is the first thing popped into my mind, so I'll roll with it. Dave and I were asked to host an event at the Haunted Trails of Gettysburg.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Now, in the basement, it's rumored to be like a little girl or something like that. Now, you have to picture Dave is 6'6", 300 pounds. He just towers over me. He's a huge guy. And Dave and I I had one group and Dave had another group, and he was down in the basement. And we had several people, filming with their phones and all that good stuff. So the group I was leading, we were actually out by the campfire taking a break. Well, we had the SOS Teen Paranormal Camp with us there that night.
They're wonderful.
So one of the girls come running over and she's like, Ernie, you need to get to the basement. Something's wrong with Dave.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
So while he was down there, and Dave's not sensitive, sight, nothing like that, he started getting violently ill. Just all of a sudden. Well, it was one of the old basements, like it wasn't connected to the house, but it had the two opening doors. It goes into the ground.
Down, up and open.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm talking about? So as I get up to the basement, Dave is just running out, just vomiting everywhere.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That's demonic.
It looked like the scene out of The Exorcist.
Yes.
But the thing is, the funny part is while he's throwing up, somebody is literally beside him like this, still filming.
Oh, God.
We're trying to talk to Dave, and I'm like telling him, you're getting all this, right? You're getting all this, right? But we believe that something may have attached to him, and they grounded him and everything, whatever it is that you all do, and he was fine.
What you all do.
Now, what do
you do? Have you never had an attachment?
I'm not. To my knowledge, no.
Because he did say what all you do, and I'm like, wait.
But he is Catholic, and if you are a real Catholic, they are like, these are. The ghosts don't exist. Those are demons. Those are like the doubt. Like that is conflicting here. That's really interesting.
I think it's depending on the kind of Catholic, though.
I did another show one night, and they actually asked me about that because some of my personal beliefs different from your traditional Roman Catholic belief. Right. But back to your question, I believe I may have had an attachment once. We were doing a public event, and I had a very famous psychic medium from the Travel Channel with me. And after the event, for like 3 days after, her and I were both very sick at home.
Was it the Long Island medium?
No.
Damn it.
And
Teresa Caputo ain't coming to cons, child. She needs her hair and nail done nice. She's not standing in mud at Penhurst with us.
but
Please.
the psychic medium contacted me
I have
and
no
asked
problem
me.
with her. Just making jokes. I can't help myself. Go ahead, Ray.
She asked me how I was feeling, and I told her, I said, I think I got the flu. I'm like in bed sick out of nowhere. And she was too. And
wow.
we were both sick for like 3 days, and then it was gone. But the thing was, when she contacted me, she said that 2 children had attached to me and went home with me.
Oh, God, that's possible.
My goodness.
Were you at Penhurst?
No.
Oh, I was good because that's one of those children's schools where you hear it not
Right.
often, but it's that was my first go-to. I'm like, was it Penhurst? Because I just made a joke about Penhurst. My joke. Sorry. So and it just you kind of got sick for a few days and then
right. I mean, to me, who knows what it was? To me, it was the flu. You know what I mean? But then again, like I said, I'm not sensitive, none of that.
Right.
But
you could have just went traveling and the thing was like, oh, look at this person.
Yeah.
What was the movie? Not Deliverance. That's a totally different topic. Fallen was with Denzel Washington and John Goodman. I think I got the names right. And just by touch, the demon was able to transfer to another person, and they were like, really good movie. God, I really hope it was called Fallen.
What's your Lauren? What's your all-time favorite horror movie?
Hellraiser.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up on it. So Hellraiser and and Beetlejuice. I actually
Beetlejuice.
Come on, that's the best.
Well, it's not really horror, and I know that's why it's funny, but it was the first 2 horror movies I ever saw at like 4 and 6 years old. So at that time, it was terrifying when the face ripped off, and that was the first time I ever saw horror. With Hellraiser, I turned to the scene where they ripped the face apart and it was Jesus wept. So in my mind, that's fucking horror. But otherwise, I don't know. It's horror these days because, like, I like classics. I have things about like The Haunting, the original Haunting.
Yeah.
The camera moving around that door frame. I had to turn all the lights on.
Yeah. I personally think the older movies are the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and reason, and you'll understand what I mean with this. Like, for example, The Exorcist.
Yes.
Of course, with me being a Catholic, it's going to be even that much more scarier to me as a child. But you got to figure, in 1973, that just completely swept the nation.
It was the first of its kind. I mean,
yeah, and the thing is, think of the special effects back then, how hard it was compared to what we can do today. You know what I mean?
And that scene they deleted, when she's going upside down the steps, man, they should have kept that in the regular bit, because that was pretty much the scariest portion of it.
Well, especially, so my mom was Catholic to a certain extent. My father was atheist but abusive, so you had to be really careful. Like you said the prayer for dinner and then you were just like, sorry, Father. But
oh my God.
Yeah, I'm weird, so obviously I had a strange childhood. But I noticed with that movie, like, everybody in my family has a story about the first time they saw that movie, or like a story about my Nana seeing that movie, and I was like, what?
What are you seeing that for, Nana?
She was a badass woman. That's why I was like, just Nana. But like that, there's some scenes in that where you're like, that thing possessed so much of a little girl, and then like killed a priest and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Pea soup. I was called The Exorcist for a different reason.
Too
many shots.
The true story behind all that, right?
Right.
And where it originated, and
I don't know anymore.
I'm not sure about where it originated, but I know the true story. And wasn't it a little boy?
It was a little. I believe it was either 46 or 1949. It was a little boy.
Yeah.
And he lived in Maryland.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the house is exactly 11 miles. Well, where the house was is exactly 11 miles from the police station I work out of.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
Now the thing is, you know, you saw the movie, they did the exorcism, all that. In real life, the exorcism started in that house in Maryland, and then they needed to move the boy to work with the Jesuits. So they went, I think it was Missouri or Minnesota. The family moved there to continue the exorcism. But the original house was
Can we just take a moment and think about that car ride? How bad that had to have been. Okay, go back.
But the actual house in Maryland, they donated the house to the fire department, and they used it as a training exercise and burned it.
Oh my God.
They replaced it with a community park. And it's a big gazebo there now, and it's a community park. And
Oh, wow.
But
that's not good.
There's reports that fires mysteriously start there, and there was actually a book. I don't know if it was a book written or a chapter in a book, something I read, but a researcher went out there and they come to the conclusion that it's the actual land that's haunted.
Yeah.
Well, once you burn it down and then you didn't salt the earth, what do you expect? That's all that's left that's going to start. It's like, what was the movie with Marky Mark where the grass did it? That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I freaking love that movie, The Happening.
Yes, that was strange.
I don't know why I like it. I think it was the actors that were in it. It was such a clever.
It is a possibility because all nature talks to itself.
Right?
Proven in science.
Come on, that's clever.
I still fucking hate it. The grass fucking did it. If somebody warned me, I would have been fine. But this is where I've been stuck for all the grass fucking did it. But that would make sense in a way that if you burn the whole freaking thing down without cleaning it out or salting the earth, it's going to be stuck there. So now everything that grows, everything that's stuck there is an energy source. Plus now people can saunter with their children. Hello, dead children. Hello, this is my child. Let's walk through the park. Like, people don't think about it enough. At least salt the earth. Put some holy water down. I mean, wouldn't you say at least?
Right. Well, that's just people who are in tune with nature and know how. Because like there's a lot of science behind.
Start kissing the ground. I'm so sorry.
No, but I mean it just makes sense. Like energy is constant, so if like we absorb it, it's just it becomes like one cycle. So if it doesn't just go off somewhere, it'll stay put. If it's
well, Einstein did say that energy never disappears; it just changes form. So
right. So I mean, and nature is like its own portals, and it just absorbs what's there. That's why like for instance, the property I live on is haunted. There's just a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma. There was a diner that burned down.
Oh, she's like 2 hours away. She's like 2 hours away from Gettysburg, Ernie.
I'm hour and 15 minutes from Gettysburg.
So where she is like that far away. So somebody else, I think it was Tim Conway, had said a lot of the fighting could have happened through that place as well. The reasonings. Go ahead. Sorry, keep going. I got excited.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, that's what he said, and we were talking about as one of the reasonings. Plus the limestone, plus there's a river, plus there's a lake.
There's a running stream, right?
There's a ton of stuff. Oh wait, we have comments. Eric has had enough. He says road trip, but no. Eric actually says, Ernie, can you tell us about your upcoming TV appearances? That's why I made the joke. Why don't you tell us about the TV appearances, and we'll stop talking about Mecca because everybody could hear about it in previous episodes. And then
I was gonna crack a serious joke, but I guess I'll keep it.
No, tell us jokes.
We like it.
What was the question?
See why don't you love my show? My show's so fun. Eric Julian asked. Technically, he's like, please, tell us about your upcoming TV appearances. He didn't use all those pieces.
I will be on season 3 of Haunted Hospitals on the Travel Channel. I was up there. Excited. I went to New York for my first time.
Oh yeah, where?
Back in August and filmed for Haunted Hospitals.
Can I ask where in New York?
I was at. Oh my goodness, I was in.
Or the location?
Long Island City.
Oh, okay. That's like 2.5 hours from me. I'm literally like a half an hour away from Amityville Horror House.
Oh wow.
So that's my They changed all the windows. They changed the address. I actually talked to the son.
Well,
who
that's
said,
right.
like,
Because
oh,
I asked you about that, like when we were talking a few weeks ago.
yeah.
That I tell you what, I remember, man, when that first came out, and the original and everything I could get my hands on about that, I read. I was just like,
Son is the sweetest guy. I worked a dear friend that passed, Elsie. She ran Twitch Productions that did Bizarre Haunted Flea Market on Long Island. Rest in peace. I love you.
Yes, Elsie.
And anyway, so the son was at the event and he was super nice, and it was actually the anniversary of his dog dying, so he was very sad. So I was kind of like, it's all good, you know how I get, Jess. I'm like, oh, it's all right. And then my car died and he had to jump my car, so it was a weird moment. I'm like, wait, don't leave me. Everybody's gone. He's just like, I'm like, I now have to get a jumper back. Oh, thank you. Beep, beep, bye. So that's how we met, and that's why he remembers me, because he's like, hello, I'm still in my car. It's dead. But he was saying that it wasn't like how it happened in books and movies or whatever, but nobody wanted to listen because it was more Hollywood-esque to what it was. I really want to get him on the show. I don't know how often he even pops up anymore, because I wrote him. I was like, you should come on the show and tell your story. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I haven't seen him online.
You're like 2 hours from New York City.
Well, that's a nice joke. If you knew Long Island
The
at all.
traffic is insane.
Let me tell you what,
that's why I don't do stuff on Long Island. I'll drive. It takes me 3.5 hours to get past the George Washington Bridge, because motherfucker traffic, to then usually take about 10 minutes to get to an event. It's like, to like,
once you get to the bridge, yeah.
When I got the call for haunted hospitals, I thought it was going to be like, all right, come up in 4 months or something,
Right, yeah.
So I get I believe it was an email, and it was on a Thursday, and it said, be in New York on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, well, I had never been there.
Aww.
And I'm basically like a Sunday driver. You know what I mean?
Long Island City is not what people understand.
I am all. So I'm driving to New York by myself for the first time.
You better stay in the right lane if you're going.
I got my GPS on, and I'm like a mile away from my hotel they put me in. So I'm driving through this traffic, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm about to miss this turn, and I'm listening to the GPS. And all of a sudden, my phone rings, and it was one of the production crew. Okay. I'm like, holy shoot, man, I got to take this call. So I answered. I was like, hello. And she's like, are you here yet? I'm like, I'm in traffic. I'm a mile away. I'll call you back. I can't talk. And I hung up on.
4 hours later, he went the mile.
It was the main thing, man. I had to go out on foot, and I found a deli. So I stocked myself with deli food for the night. And it was.
Let me just tell everybody listening and watching, please don't do what Ernie did. Do not just decide to wander on foot in Long Island City. It is not suburbia.
Yeah,
this is still the ghetto. And I'm not trying to insult anybody, but it's not like where you're like, oh, look, little houses that are so pretty and people walking their dogs. And you go, huh. It's like, are your windows up? Are your doors locked? There's a casino about 40 miles away at night. Nope. I'm not trying to hit on anybody. I'm just saying, I don't want any girl to be like, oh, I'm going to go to the deli. Don't just go to the deli.
I was sitting in my hotel room, and I was watching Travel Channel. They had some shows on there. And,
1 second. We have a comment. Barry Ruggiero.
Hey, Barry, what's up? Barry's from New Jersey Paranormal Investigations.
Yes. I'm sorry I butchered your last name. There was no way I
There
you go. Hi, Barry. So continue.
I said I'm going to go out, take a little walk around, and this was like 8:30 at night, the night before filming. But I have that app on my phone that, no matter where like crime is, it alerts you.
Yeah.
0.6 miles, which is a half a mile from where I was staying. They had a triple shooting. So I was like, I think I'm going to just stay in my room for the night.
Yeah, that's why I try to tell people ahead of time, do not do what Ernie did. Don't be like, I think I'll go to the deli. Nah, motherfucker, nah.
It was nice deli, though. I forget what it was called. But
I live in Suffolk County, that is suburbia. So you have like middle America, like middle income houses, little, ranches and stuff. Then you have like the Hamptons, then you got Montauk. If you try to go from the Hamptons to Montauk, you're like 3 hours just sitting in a car going, contemplating life choices. It's sometimes not worth it. So Long Island is where you leave from. You don't stay. If I didn't have, certain family members that I was, staying here because of health stuff, I would have been already out again, because just to try to get past the George Washington Bridge should not be the longest part of your journey. Anyway, I feel better now. I do this every time I talk about it. But the fact that you had to do that trip and Long Island City, let me tell you, you're a trooper, bro. I can't wait to see the episode. Do you know when they're airing it?
I don't. We're waiting to hear from them. I think it'll be soon, because they contacted me not long ago just to reiterate the proper spellings of my name and all that stuff. And I noticed that they just reran seasons 1 and 2 not long ago. So who knows? Who knows? I just hope I don't look like a dork on national TV.
No, you won't.
Well, you look like a dork here, so.
Did you just? This is what I fucking love about it.
I'm just teasing you. Just teasing you.
Lauren, can we block her out?
Sure, hold on. Dude, I almost tried. I don't know how to do it without like fucking it up.
Then I have to bounce me back in.
I know. I'd be like, shit. The rest of the show. Jess, I see you in there. Hold on. No. Did you get to go inside the place and like walk around on the show, or was it more like sitting outside, or like, why did I drive here? I shouldn't ask that question. Maybe you could.
Oh yeah, can you even reveal any of that yet?
Were you allowed to walk through the place during your episode?
No, it was filming in the studio.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, Long Island City Studio. Okay.
Yeah, it was filming in the studio.
That makes sense.
I got to wear my lucky purple shirt.
Ooh, purple.
What does that do for you?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, some people like they have their ways of protecting themselves on these. And as you said that you're a Catholic, do you ask for assistance with, any spirit guides or archangels? No.
So I have my daily prayers and normal Catholic things, but
all right, I want a more interesting question. I want to ask you what the scariest fucking thing paranormal wise that you had to deal with has been. Whether you think it might be ghosts or demons or anything, what was the thing that was like, oh fuck?
I can honestly tell you, and I've been on, like, we're concluding up a residential case now that is involving a 10-year demonic attachment. I actually had to call the big guns in on this one for that aspect of the investigation. Now, I can honestly say all the years I've been doing this, I've never been scared of something, like, you know what I mean, along those lines. Now, as far as being startled, like, I've had some that I damn near jumped out of my skin because I just wasn't expecting it. You know how when you turn a corner and somebody jumps out on that's you get startled.
Yes.
But years ago, I was investigating a farmhouse that someone had willed to them, and it was supposed to be like some nasty activity going on. And I had another investigator with me. I was with my original team at the time. I had another investigator in the house with me, and a reporter was with us. She was doing a story on us. We were in the living room, and this was in the middle of the country, and there was no electricity in the house. So we're doing whatever we're doing in the living room, and the reporter says to me, she was over by the steps, and she said, "Hey, Ernie, I feel something. Like there's just this lingering cold spot, and I feel uncomfortable." I took a photograph, and sure enough, there was a black mass like blocking her shoulder, but I didn't want to frighten her. She had never done nothing like this before. So I walked over to where she was standing so that I could experience the cold spot. Now I turned to face the living room, and I told her about it. I said, "Hey, I'm going to take a picture." When I took a picture with the digital camera, it goes beep, beep, and then it flashes.
Yeah.
When that room illuminated with the flash, there was a man standing in the center of the room looking at us.
Oh
Nice.
shit.
And I just felt like everything like started up here, just left my body. But my crew was set up in the outside garage, and they could tell just by, because I'm one of those monotone kind of drab, like, you know, sometimes people don't know if I'm joking because I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they said they could tell just by my facial expression that something happened. So they radioed in and was like, get Ernie out of there, you know. But that was very startling because we were the only ones in the house.
I love when that happens.
And
so
yeah,
great.
I mean that was pretty scary. I mean, it was cool, but it was scary, you know.
I really hate when the entity always wants to do like the jump scare where they'll make a sound and then so you're like, ooh, and
Yeah.
I'm like, congratulations, you did a jump scare. Any actor can do that. Let's move on. I swear. And I'm like, because that's my defense mechanism. Whenever like they try that and you realize that like, oh, you almost feel the energy of like somebody being like, oh shucks.
Right.
So this demonic one in the house that you're doing,
Mhm.
did like have you seen anything get thrown or like what
How did you know it was demonic?
Yeah, do you feel anything like gut wrenching or
now
like
what the way this worked was someone from out of town was contacted by this client. The out of towner contacted me, and I've done several interviews with the person.
Yeah.
And, you know, based on, you know, the person's credibility and personal credibility and what they're experiencing, I definitely had to turn it immediately over to an exorcist.
Oh, cool.
So he's working with her now, but then to wrap the case up, myself and Dave and the exorcist, we're going to go all together.
Oh,
I can already see her face. So the question is, can we meet the exorcist and have him on the show? It doesn't have to be about the case, but afterwards, could you and I talk have him on the show?
You know who he is.
Who is he?
You guys know who he is.
Oh, I'll talk to you after the show. Leave it alone, Jess. We'll talk.
Dang it!
Dang it! Highest tree, Lord, won't you take it from me? All right.
So, okay, what is your favorite piece of equipment? What do you mostly get? So, like, what do you get the most results for?
What's your favorite?
Because my favorite is that sound box.
Are we still talking about the paranormal or?
Girl, the way you phrase that. What's your favorite piece of equipment? You asked a man what his favorite piece of equipment is. So move right along. We're talking paranormal. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone.
Focus.
Jess.
I got an interview question.
Jess.
Yes.
I forgive you for calling me a dork. Can you block her out?
No, it's all me. I run the show.
Right.
Honestly, I like old school investigating.
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
Digital camera, voice recorder. All, you know.
Is there a type of voice recorder you like better, or is it just like would you just use like the voice recording app on your phone, or do you find like a separate unit?
Well, we have like 50 dozen different voice recorders, but I find that, and this is my personal opinion, I find that the voice recorders that come on your phone when you buy your phone are more sensitive.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier. You know, if I'm sitting here right now and I capture an EVP on the voice recorder on my phone, I can send it right to you right now.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But I just, you know, my partner, Dave, he's, you know, being the tech guy, he loves all the new and cool, you know, where myself, I like using equipment that has a primary function other than, hey, we built this to find a ghost.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? But I like going old school. Like we did an investigation 2 weeks ago, and basically what we did was there's a venue where we host a lot of public events. So one of the mediums that works with us, she said, hey, let's just get a small group, go to this venue and investigate it, just us. No public, no audience, and see what we get.
Right.
And we basically started old school, doing nothing but sitting in the dark, absolute quiet, running a voice recorder. Once we established that connection, then we kind of stepped our game up. But I like the old school techniques, Jess. The best.
Mhm.
I have
I
a
love
problem
that.
with one of their boxes. That thing that sound. You know the one that's like.
Yeah, the box. What is it?
I don't spirit box. I think
Spirit
it's called.
box. I
That
love
thing
that thing.
physically hurts me. Like
I
can't be in
tell
the
you
same
what,
room with one.
It's a little.
on the investigation 2 weeks ago, I walked into one of the rooms where like 4 people were. They posted this on my Paranormal Inc page, but they were doing what the flashlight technique
Yeah.
is.
Right, where they turn it, the ghost turns it on.
You take a little like mag light and you turn it just so that it goes off, so that if you tap it, the light comes on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they were using that as like a yes, no. If you're here, make the light up. It'll make the light up.
Right.
Well, I had walked into the room and I had a baseball hat on, and one of the investigators in there says, "Hey, if you know who walked into the room, can you light this light up?" Boom, the light comes on.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned one of the spirit boxes on, and one of the older ones, and it's good, making the white noise. And I said, "Hey, do you have a message for me? Or are you the one that just turned the light on?" The light came on again, and then the voice box, as clear as day, said Ernie.
Cool.
And I mean, out of all the years I've been doing this and all the equipment we used, I've never heard my name that clear.
Wow.
And actually, one of the ladies was actually filming. So we got,
awesome.
yeah.
That's
That was
awesome.
very cool.
See, I like them. I just can't be in the same room with them. And like when they put them on any of the TV shows, I physically feel pain from whatever it is.
Really?
I
That
don't
is
know
an
if
annoying noise.
I think
Yeah.
because it's
Well, see,
flicking through
we
because it's flicking through frequencies, I think the fast, rapid change is affecting my energy.
we use a lot of the
Answers.
we use a lot of the upgraded new equipment now. Like I like to call it a spirit box on steroids,
Ooh.
where it's none of that white noise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay.
It still functions the same, but it's none of the white noise. And we use a system that's in our computers. And basically what it does is, if the energy changes, or allegedly if a spirit comes close by, it triggers the sensors in the computer, which then in turn allows the entity to draw from the
Energizer box thing.
yeah.
So what is it? It flicks through the channels internally without making the noise?
Right.
Okay, yeah, and then it just okay.
Interesting to find out one day.
Yeah.
I have to figure it out. And I've never actually told anybody that before, but it's just one of those, like, everybody else doesn't seem bothered by it, but I physically can't.
No, I could see why you would be annoyed by it. It's
Right.
really loud and it's just obnoxious.
I do have, since my brain healed from the epilepsy, I have had stuff that I've noticed is more on like Asperger's autistic spectrum stuff. Like noises will be too much for me, so it's like these are good, and I don't mean like that those kinds of sensory stuff. So it might be that, or I just might be a fucking weirdo and I'm cool with it no matter what. I do like the old school method where you're just taking pictures and just talking. Mary's grave is in Smithtown, Stony Brook. I don't remember exactly. It starts with an S, so with my dyslexia, I always get it mixed up. But it literally was like every time they changed the sub story, but like the house all burnt down and all this stuff, and all that's left is like this bit of like old cobblestone, and it's right on the water. And I took audio there, and there was like weird energy and stuff, but it was daytime, and there was like kind of people, so you don't know what it was. I want to go back one time at night. That would be fun. So that's another one of those where I think everywhere is always somebody has a story where it's like an urban legend, but then it's like something was really happening.
If you
yeah, they came from somewhere.
If you like the old school techniques, Ted Van Son from he's co-owner of the radio network we're with. He published his second book. It's called Thinking Outside the Paranormal Box, something like that. And I actually wrote the foreword for his book. And the book is all old school techniques. I mean, it is an amazing what goes on in this guy's head. I mean, you can I believe you can get it on Amazon. But
He's a really cool dude, everybody.
Yeah, for those that like the old school, read that book, man. And
I did his event. Ernie, do you remember the name of his event? The one upstate he had last
year?
Was it
Rochester Parafest?
There you go.
Parafest, Rochester. Yeah, it's actually because we'll be at the next one, but it's not going to be till 2022.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can do it depending on what's going on. Because, if I can support my friends, I like to. Yeah. There's a location that I used in the movie that I help kind of run, the Church of the Mystic Gray. And I only say that because I have spoken to him about letting people do investigations at his location. It's an over 100-year-old church.
It is gorgeously decaying. Like, I mean, you can't, it looks like somebody made this as a prop in a horror film. It is just stunning. Yeah. Lorraine has the pictures on, she has pictures of it on her page. It's stunning. The ceiling is like crusted away, paint chipping, but they got these solid beams.
And it's got a crazy history about trying to, let people who love each other get married, and, the state and all that. Man rose from the dead from the background, as I said it, weird moment. So I've been, starting to talk to him about allowing groups to start doing investigations, because when I was there by myself, I got crazy shit happened to me. Like, there was this placard of the Last Supper that literally just moved by itself in the basement. And I was like, okay, hello, stuff like that. And not anything enough where it was like I had time to be like, did a wind gust? It was just more like, I'm going to come back and check this shit out. So he's finally allowing me to choose people that are going to be allowing to investigate the church. It's in New Jersey. Please look it up. Church of Mystic Light Gray. It's on Facebook. I linked it everywhere through the Devil's Lettuce movie page as well. But if you guys are ever interested, let me know, and I can take you once I speak to him, make sure it's definitely clear.
And what is that cross called that's there? The upside down cross at St. Peter's?
Of St. Peter's, the upside down cross.
Oh, I saw the photos. I didn't realize that was the same place you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
but the history behind that cross is super interesting because people are like, oh, devil worship, but it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
That's why he had it up on one wall, is trying to show how many times that the place almost got burnt down or whatever because of how many people are like, heretic and all this stuff versus just
no way. I feel like that cross was in honor of Jesus Christ. Like he wanted to state the fact that he was bowing down to him, and that's why the cross was lower than right. So because Jesus was up on that pedestal, so to speak, with the, I don't know how to explain it.
But that's also more of a Catholic thing versus the church itself, though, my dear.
So that's what the guy that owned it explained to me, and I just thought it was so fascinating.
It's true. You're absolutely right, and that's why it's there, is to show. And it was one of the things that was proving worthiness and everything. That was part of the reason the church had problems. People died on the property, from what I got told. There's all sorts of weird history. It's over 100 years old. So I
was taken over. I almost passed out while we were waiting for Loren to get back to the scene while I was in the car, and I had to do a whole freaking scene right after coming to. It was really difficult.
I was panicking too, because we had her at a graveyard that was haunted and something messed with her, so we had to take her from there and bring her to the church. Now it's almost midnight and she's getting all kind of touched and all sorts of sick. I show up and I'm like, I haven't none of this. I put my hand on her. She's like, okay. I'm like, here we go.
As soon as she came, I don't know if it got scared or she's got different. She's got some abilities that may have took it off of me.
Right.
But when I came to, she's like, all right, everybody out of the car. And I'm like, oh, what's my name? And I couldn't, I had to.
I don't know if it's the same thing as what you experienced, Jess, but it made me think of something that happened to me in Gettysburg. And I had happened to be in Gettysburg for the evening, and it wasn't for nothing paranormal. And I had something happen to me that it startled me so bad that when I came to my senses, I was sitting in my car.
Wow, that's how you
And
know.
You lost time. Oops.
my wife and her friend were with me.
Wow.
And they said that when this thing scared me, I literally, my body locked up and I hit the ground.
I believe it. I've seen
And they said that I got up and ran to my car, but I have no recollection of it other than when I come to my senses, I was sitting in the driver's seat still holding my digital camera.
That's
Aw,
crazy.
I hate that shit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I felt as if my sugar dropped,
but they would
and
give
I
it
was
sugar though.
I was so weak
Yeah.
and my lips were
And
pale.
I fed her. I gave her pH balanced water. I was serious.
I had
throughout
just
the whole day.
Something drained your
Yeah.
attached and drained your energy.
But
We also smelled something, so something was definitely fucking with her. And then I showed up, and like the minute I realized they're all sitting in the car, looking morose, like contemplating what they're gonna do if she doesn't get better. Like I was just like a bullet. Everybody get out of the car!
Yeah.
Like,
Jess, before this happened to you, what did you smell?
I don't even remember. What did I tell you, Loren? It was such a foggy.
I feel like
I don't remember much of it.
Al and Nelson were the ones that told me that, like, you had said you smelled something. They said they smelled more like a sulfur smell, like an old smell.
Okay.
I'm not going to guarantee it because I showed up and there was a little bit of chaos.
Tell me,
freaked out about Jess.
Tell me if you've ever heard of this. A lot of times, like you'll get that people before they experience something paranormal, they'll get that sulfur smell or something along those lines. But 2 times this year, this has happened to me. Before I experienced something, I smelled an odor of rubbing alcohol.
Oh no, that's never happened to me.
I
would have remembered that. I remember like a dusty, musty, like almost like just something musty.
Yeah.
No, that would seem like clean to me.
Right. It was
like,
yeah, it smelled like, when you go to get a shot at the doctor and they rub a cotton ball with the alcohol. That's exactly what as soon as I smelled that.
A nurse stuck to you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe it had somebody to do that worked around that.
Depending on the locations.
Yeah, it was strange. It was at 2 different locations, but it was weird. It happened.
But that could be your way of sensing that. Our brains may pick it up in a different way.
And then something happened though, or did you just have that smell?
No, it was right prior to something having an experience.
That's what I thought. Okay, so it could be a precursor for you in a certain. Like my belief is sometimes we have, let's say, spirit guides or spirit team members, depending whatever it is, where each one has a different way of letting you know, depending what's going on. Like, like this one person was like, "Oh, holy hell! Wake up, smelling salts, rubbing alcohol." Where somebody else is just like, "Hey, horses and hay." Jokes, but still. But yeah, the minute I showed up and I wasn't playing, because once I get in that mode, like, you don't mess with my people. That's it. I'm just done at that point.
I remember I had to make sure that
like her on her, and we moved on.
I had to make sure that I was standing in a light because there was a lot of shadows where I had to start my scene, and I had to make it look like I've been running for a while. So I had to go like on the side of the building where it was super dark, and for some reason there was something in me that just wouldn't let me cross that threshold of where that shadow started. It was so uncomfortable. That was my first experience that made me realize that there is something out there that could really muscle me. It could make me.
Technically, we were at 3 haunted locations I made to go to.
Right. And you know what though? But I was so good.
Afterwards, because
but I was so good. I didn't have that gut feeling. I was doing well, and then it was just that last scene.
I also had 3 psychics protecting her at all times. I hired 3 psychics. Didn't tell her that was one of their jobs. I'm like, we cannot let her get hurt. Okay. And then all of a sudden I show up and she was like, Hello, friend.
Yes.
Oh my God,
I wasn't with them at that time. I was with
Right.
the other
There's
guys.
only so many, all my shit's in the back of the car kind of thing. So we actually are filming more of the Devil's Lettuce this spring. We're going to be starting a Indiegogo campaign in February 20th. And, all the funding goes to making all the epic scenes. We're going back to like the Church of Mystic Ray to do some of the crime scenes. I'm playing a detective. I'm getting my prop badge. I got my stuff. It's going to be good. All right. This has been an amazing hour with Ernie Atwell from Paranormal Inc. Hell yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Ernie.
much. Yes.
And
Awesome.
we're going to have you back on. You know it.
And don't forget, you will be on our radio show on March 28th.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I can't wait.
Congratulations.
She was supposed to be on a few weeks ago, but because of everything that was going on in society recently, I had mandatory overtime I had to work. So
Sure.
And like I was going to be upset. I'm like, you save lives. I'll be here whenever you need me.
I don't know. Hey,
Like,
guys,
priorities.
thank you so much for having me. I really look forward to this, and I had a
Awesome.
good time. You both are so awesome, and I can't wait to have you on in a few weeks. And
Yeah, we're going to have you back on to do like a paranormal 101.
I'm gonna hold you guys to that.
Oh, believe me, I'm excited.
No, we look forward to that.
Until next Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you then. Stay safe.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye,
Bye, guys.